Hey guys, today I want to talk about the top 5 best rides to book your fast passes with at Magic Kingdom when you're traveling with kids, and also a second list for your top 5 rides for just the adults. If you've never been to Disney World, it can be very overwhelming. If you have been before, these are still some great tips that you can use. I want to talk about the 5 best rides to schedule your first 3 fast passes for. I also want to mention some rides that my experience don't really need to waste those oh so glorious fast passes on. Most of these non-fast pass rides I mention are rides that you can mostly squeeze in between your scheduled fast passes, and you don't really have to wait in too long of ridiculous lines. The My Disney app has a great feature where you can check ride wait times on the fly. You just pull up in the app, you pick up the ride that you're looking at, and it'll actually show you how long those ride wait times are. This is very helpful when you're trying to plan your day inside the park and you're trying to hop from ride to ride. One thing I really need to mention is for the character meet and greets, especially Mickey, they fill up super fast and they're just as big as some of the biggest rides. You'll need to use a fast pass reservation to book these if you're traveling with children, or if you're some of us adults that just want to meet Mickey, you might want to schedule one of these. The lines get very long depending on the character, and you can wait up to an hour, 2 hours to meet Mickey or Donald Duck or any of the characters they have that day, and it's just not something you want to do just to meet a character. So you might have to sacrifice one of those fast passes to meet one of these characters. Let's jump into the first list for the top 5 rides for traveling with adults or older kids. First on my list is the Seven Dwarf Mine. This is probably the biggest outdoor roller coaster you can find at Magic Kingdom. It's a very cool ride, fast, and it's got a great little story along the ride with animatronics and singing dwarfs. It's a pretty cool ride. Next, number 2 on my list, Space Mountain. This is a really cool original roller coaster that dates back all the way to 1975, but it's still a huge fan favorite and a must ride. This ride is completely indoors and it's amazing. It's dark, it's fast, you hear everyone screaming. Oh, it's just a great ride. Number 3 on my list, Pirates of the Caribbean. Now this is a really cool ride. It's a family-friendly ride, but it's definitely on my list for adults because it's a ride I love and my family loves, and it always ranks high in the list of must-rides for Magic Kingdom. Number 4, Splash Mountain. Get ready to get wet because this is a perfect way to cool down in that Florida heat. Really cool, fast ride, up high. Got a little bit of story behind it too. Just a cool ride. Get very wet, so have fun. Number 5 on my list, Big Thunder Mountain. It's another cool roller coaster for those roller coaster lovers. You're going to want to book this in advance because it does fill up and the lines get ridiculously long. It's outside. It's cool. It's fast. It's got a great theme behind it for the queue lines. It's just a really cool ride. All right, now for my notable mention ride. It's Haunted Mansion. This didn't make my list, but depending on what kind of rides you're into, it's a great ride to use one of your fast passes on. Very scary. It's very cool. The characters that they play as you wait in line, they really take you to the next level, and it's a great indoor ride. Now onto my list of the top rides that you don't really need to use a fast pass on. I mean, you can use one of your fast passes if you want to, but in my experiences, you can squeeze these in between your fast passes, or when you're done your fast passes, you can try to book one of these by themselves. And number 1 on that list is Small World. This is definitely a staple ride that you have to ride if this is your first time in Disney World. But most of the time, if you keep an eye out on that Disney app, you can get on this ride within 30 minutes, which isn't bad at all for a busy day at Disney World. And it's just not really worth using your fast pass for. Next, over in Tomorrowland is the People Mover. Very cool ride. It takes you around all of Tomorrowland, in and out of the rides. It shows you inside Buzz, the carousel. It's a really cool ride. It gets you out of the sun, lets you cool down. The ride's never really that long. I mean, 20-30 minutes is a very long line for this, so definitely keep that as a little buffer ride in between fast passes. Number 3 on the list, the Carousel of Progress. Now, this is a cool ride. It shows you all of the history of Walt Disney puts together of the turn of the century. So it starts at the 1900s, and it just gives you a history in Disney's eyes that he first showed at the World's Fair. It's just really cool. It's inside. You're going to want to see this, and it never has a long ride wait. All right, now I want to go over the top 5 options if you're planning the day around kids and toddlers. Number 1 on my list, Peter Pan's Flight. Probably my favorite kid toddler ride at Magic Kingdom. This ride is always absolutely booked. Forget about waiting in line. I'm talking about 1.5 to 2 hour wait lines for this. This is definitely a ride you want to ride with kids, and you're definitely going to want to use your FastPass for. Hands down, probably the coolest kid ride at Magic Kingdom. All right, next on my list, the Jungle Cruise. Really cool ride. It takes you on this cruise in the safari. You're in a boat. You go through the water. You have this great tour guide. The hosts are incredibly funny. It makes it great for adults, not just kids. Bunch of animatronics. Really cool ride. 3 on my list, Pirates of the Caribbean. And yes, it made both lists. This is an awesome ride, especially for kids. Not only for kids. It's inside, so again, it always gets you out of that heat. It's a classic ride. It's been around forever at Disney World. Tons of animatronics, tons of action. Awesome. 4 on the list, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. Great indoor activity. Kids absolutely love this ride. You get these cool laser guns. You get to shoot at targets. You're defending the galaxy, helping Buzz Lightyear. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. 5 on my list, kid rides, is the Barnstormer. This is an awesome little roller coaster for kids, and if your kid is tall enough to ride it, it is great. My 2-year-old was, this was his first roller coaster ever, and he has ridden it probably 40 times since. We always do it. We always book it. It is great. It's not too fast, but it's fast enough. Kids will love it. Now for my notable mention that didn't make the top 5 is the Tomorrowland Speedway. Great ride, fast. The kids actually get to ride the cars themselves. It's on a little track, but they get to steer it. Very cool. If that's something your kids are tall enough for, it's definitely on a little bit of the taller side. Always a very, very long wait. So if it's something you want to do, you might want to use your top 5 fast passes for that ride. Now on to rides that don't normally have too long of a wait. You can squeeze in throughout the day, but definitely rides I would recommend riding. First on the list is Dumbo. Everyone loves Dumbo. This is a very cool ride because halfway through the queue line, there's this whole inside area for kids to play. You kind of step out of line for a second, but they hold your spot. You play, your kids can cool down, all indoors, air conditioning. And then when you're ready, you just hop back in line, hop onto Dumbo. Great. There's 2 sets of Dumbo rides, so it goes pretty fast. They're always cycling people in and out of there. Number 2 on the list, the Walt Disney Railroad. This is cool because it gets you out of the sun, gets you a nice little ride around the park. Good thing to get you off your feet. You get to see all of Disney World, which is really cool. And then another really cool thing about it is if you're in the back of the park, it'll take you all the way to the front of the park, so you don't have to walk, which is great at the end of the day. Number 3 on the list, the Magic Carpet Ride of Aladdin. This is really cool because it's kind of like Dumbo, but it's different because it's all Aladdin themed with the genie and they squirt water at you. Kids love it. Great ride. You can normally squeeze in. Just keep an eye out on that wait line app. Number 4 is the also famous Teacups. Pretty simple ride, but it's one you can squeeze in without having to use a FastPass for. You can always hop in mid of the day. You could ride it more than once. Just a cool ride, gets you spinning around. And my last but not least favorite ride to ride without a FastPass is Tom Sawyer's Island. It is a great hidden gem that most people have never visited. It took us probably 7 or 8 Disney trips before we even realized it was there. It's a hidden little island in the middle of Frontierland that you have to take an actual little boat to get to. You can't walk to it. It's full of fun and activities for the kids. There's different playgrounds. There's different adventures in there, tunnels, caves, hidden little things you have to try to find. It's a great way to kill time. The line is never really that long because, like I said, most people don't even know it's there, but it's a great little hidden gem. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, throw me a like, and any comments down below of future videos that you might want to see, any suggestions you might have. But thanks. I'll see you guys next time.